Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Lynn. Today I'm going to be making a homemade, what is called homemade maple donut bars. Now, I never even heard of this recipe before. I saw it on a website. Let me just check the name here real quick. It's called Dynamite Dishes. Never heard of this recipe before. I don't even know if I ever really saw anybody make it before. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna give it a try. First of all, you know, homemade helped, but donut caught my eye. I thought, wow, now if I can make donuts at bars that taste like a donut, yes. Hey, and it uses maple syrup, which today I'm going to be using some maple syrup. It is bourbon barrel aged Wisconsin maple syrup, and the name of it is Skinny Sticks, and it's made in Marathon, Wisconsin. And I do believe the guy that started this in Wisconsin, I do believe he's a veteran. So there you go. Wisconsin maple syrup. Bourbon barrel aged Wisconsin maple syrup. I buy this in Appleton at a little thrift store. I can't find it up here for some reason. You can get it online, and it's really good. This is, I've never had the other kinds or whatever. This is all I've ever had. So let's get started. And 2 cups of flour. We're going to mix together flour. We have a cup of sugar. We have baking powder. Where are you? We have a teaspoon of baking, or wait a minute, yeah, a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of salt that I can't get out. Okay, there we go. And we're going to whisk this together a little bit just to mix it all in. There we go. I'm going to set you aside. And then we are going to whisk together in a separate bowl. We're going to whisk together our half a cup of buttermilk. This is just regular milk that I added 1.5 teaspoons of white vinegar to make my own buttermilk. As you can see, it did fine there. I didn't have any on hand. I don't use a lot of buttermilk. I only do with baking. And this time of year, I'm just starting getting on the baking, getting back into the baking. So that's the buttermilk here, half a cup of buttermilk. And we're going to have 2 eggs. And there's one. Ooh. 1 egg. And we have 2 eggs. And my melted butter that I didn't melt. I have a 1/4 cup of melted butter that I didn't milk. So I'll be right back. All right, here we go. 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, melted. There we go, get all that out. And we have 2 tablespoons of that yummy maple syrup. Skinny Sticks maple syrup, which I told you about, from Marathon, Wisconsin, bourbon barrel. And it's good, but then I love maple syrup. Yummy. And we have a teaspoon of vanilla. And we are going to whisk this together. Like I said, dynamite. What was it again? Dynamite dynamic dishes. Okay, well, I never heard of it, the site before. I don't even really know how I got on there. But looking around, I think I was looking up donuts. Donut recipe. Came on to this one. I thought, well, hey, let's try it. If it tastes like a donut, we can just, you know, make bars from now on. A lot easier than heating up oil. Even though those are good. We just can't find a good donut place up here anymore. Place we used to go to doesn't make them anymore. I think the guy retired, the baker. So, yeah, we gotta have our donut fix once in a while. Now, I'm gonna pour the wet ingredients into the dry. My butter a little bit more, but hey, butter's butter. I didn't want to scramble my eggs either. And we are just going to stir that in, just until combined. I already have lightly greased my 13 by 9 baking dish. Okay, here. Kind of fold it in just till combined. I don't know how all that's going to fit in here, but we'll see. See how this goes. And then we got our oven preheated, 350 degrees. And, oh, let me set that down here. My hands just aren't as good as they used to be, obviously. By the looks of them. Yep. Old age is not pretty at all. Thick. Well, I certainly hope these turn out. Like I said, I'm always afraid to try something new, but if you don't, then you make the same old thing all the time. And after a long summer of not baking and having anything halfway decent, you know, I mean, as far as sweets are concerned, it's kind of nice when you can go, oh, I think I'm going to bake that today. I'm becoming more of a baker than I used to be, so, you know, I guess I'm not as worried about the waistline as I was when I was thinner and younger. After the 20-25 minutes, and then we're going to glaze these with a powdered sugar maple glaze. So come on, if they sound good, they shouldn't even be bad at all. So, see you back here in a little bit. This is a 2 tablespoon measure here. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of syrup. Ooh, overflowing. And I'm going to stir it up. A whisk of half and half here. Because this is not. Oh, Larry. Uh-oh. Larry's getting yelled at. Well, that's more glazy. Never mind. There. Now that's glaze. just a little bit more, half and half. The recipe doesn't call for this, so I don't know what's up with that. There's no way I could have glazed anything for the last stuff I was doing. So, and I added probably 3 tablespoons of the bourbon barrel aged Wisconsin maple syrup by Skinny Sticks. Now, there we go. Well, that's glazing. That's probably too much, but that's okay. I'm more of a glaze person. I'm not a frosting person at all. Ooh, at all. Neither is my husband. So, this will be fine for us. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. So, I'll be back when our donut bars are done, which should be in about 5 minutes. To let it cool slightly, which I let them cool for 15 minutes. It's still warm. And then you drizzle on, here, excuse me, I gotta move my arm. Allow the bars to cool slightly. And then you drizzle on the maple glaze over the top. Okay. Drizzle on the bars over the top. Okay. And then you allow, oh, dripping on my floor. You allow the glaze to set up before you cut them. So, sorry Larry, but you can have a little lick of that when I'm done here. So you allow it to cool and set up before you cut them. And I will do that, but let's just lightly spread this around. Ooh, it smells good. It smells very nice and mapley. You know, even though, you know, people don't really, you know, well, not really, they don't harvest the maple syrup till springtime. Most people associate maple with fall, you know, and it's kind of weird, but you don't, and there we go. But I love the smell of maple in the fall. It just, I don't know. Here we go. Now, I'm going to let this set up until it's done, and then we'll cut them into squares, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I've never made this recipe before. I never really saw it anywhere before. They're called homemade donut bars. Well, homemade maple donut bars. Not a donut, but it tastes pretty darn close. Very nice flavor. I'm chewing here. It would be really nice with maybe some ice cream on it. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't taste exactly like a donut. What kind of donut does it taste like? I guess it would. I'd have to say I have to compare it to like an Long John. That's not filled. Like a Long John. That would be how I'd have to classify it. Like a Long John. Not as fluffy as a Long John. Like a donut, not as fluffy. And of course you don't have the fried taste or whatever. So I guess that's how I could sum that up. A baked donut that has a maple flavor to it. It tastes like a Long John. I guess there you go. That's about as best as I could describe it. Yeah. Now the picture that I saw when I saw these is totally deceiving. The picture does not look anything like a donut. I mean, these don't, picture looks just like a donut. These do not even look like donuts when you make them. They're bars. Like I said, that's what I would say. It tastes like a baked mapley Long John. Give them a try. They're easy to make. There's not a lot of ingredients. You can whip them together real quickly. And I really do think people would like them. So, there you go. Have a good day. And see you again here on In the Kitchen with Lynn.